Jamie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video talking about the Bob's Burgers movie and like how it adapted a TV show into a film, which has been done many times before. I have talked about how much I love Bob's Burgers on this channel before, but I haven't done like a proper video about it. So yeah, this will be talking about the film, which, spoiler alert, I did really enjoy. The first part of this video will be spoiler free, just talking about the general kind of synopsis of the film and also kind of some things that I think they did right. And then I'll go into a more spoilery version of this video of a review later, and I'll make it very clear what that point is. So if you haven't seen the film, then yeah, you don't need to worry about getting it spoiled. The film came out on the 25th of May in the UK, I believe, into cinemas, and I did watch it in the cinema first, and then I later watched it at home because it is now on Disney+. So if you want to watch it, that's where you go to watch it. The basic plot of the film, which is kind of like what it's advertised as, is a sinkhole opens up outside the restaurant, which ruins Bob and Linda's plans for like a successful summer. And then the sinkhole also kind of opens up a mystery that the kids decide that they need to solve, and they've all kind of got their own worries about summer, and yeah, it kind of explores that and helps them kind of look at their worries and stuff like that. It's a very lovely film. I very much enjoyed it. So first of all, I think it was a very fun film that fans of the show can enjoy and also like non-fans of the show can enjoy. There are references to plots that happened in episodes. For example, the Itty Bitty Ditty Committee, which is very hard to say, like Tina's imaginary horse Jericho, and also her love for like zombie boys. So there definitely are hints and references to the show that obviously we as fans of the show will understand and laugh at, but also they're not too wild that people who haven't seen the show and are just watching the film will like. It's not like they're gonna not understand it at all. Like it fits very well into the film. And I would say for me, the show feels like a long episode, but in a good way. They haven't diverged from what the show is about or like gone kind of a bit too far with anything. It definitely feels like an episode of Bob's Burgers, but in that sense as well, it doesn't feel like they've taken just a standard plot and stretched it out to an hour and a half. They've definitely been very careful with it and crafted it very carefully, and I feel like they've done such a brilliant job. Like, it just feels like, yeah, just a long episode. I don't feel like I got bored at any point. There was no points where I was like, oh, this is dragging a bit. This plot was structured very carefully, and I thought it was very good. There are songs in the film, and I know people who watch Bob's Burgers are kind of like, some people love the songs, some people don't. There are, I think, 3 major songs, and like just like nice music in the background throughout the film, as like most films have. But yeah, there are kind of 3 songs, and I would say that's a good amount because I personally like the songs, but I don't like to have like too many songs in an episode, I don't think. So this was a perfect amount. I think for people who love the songs, they get 3 good songs. Well, I would say 2 good songs, and then 1 kind of iffy song. I didn't really like that, like the last song very much. People who love the songs get the songs. People who don't love the songs don't have to deal with it throughout the whole film. There's literally only a few points that the songs appear, which I think is a perfect amount. Obviously, a major part of the film is that there is this mystery that is, you know, the kids are trying to solve. I really enjoyed that mystery. I love a good little mystery drama, and I thought they did such a good job. Like I said, it didn't feel overdrawn, and it definitely fit with the kind of like longer form content more. Like if they had done it in an episode, I feel like to get kind of everything that they had in the film, they would have had to done it over like 2 episodes, like the Bleakening episode. Like that was over 2. I feel like minimum they'd have to do that because there were lots of like twists and turns with the mystery, and yeah, kind of like red herrings and stuff like that. And yeah, so I liked that. And yeah, I feel like it definitely fits the longer form better than it would have in the show, although they could have probably shortened it down a bit, I guess, for the show. I would say the film also is pretty much the same, like comedy style, sense of humour as the show, which is what I wanted. I didn't want it to kind of like be watered down or kind of maybe made a bit more for children if they were advertising that. Like I think it was a PG in the UK, but it still had that kind of feel of the original show. Like there were kind of like hidden like adult jokes in there that, you know, would have gone over kids' heads, which obviously made it appropriate for it to be a PG. But yeah, it still had that sense of humour, so I don't think people who watch the show would kind of feel disappointed by it that way. And also it's not too out there for people who haven't seen the show when they're just watching the film for the first time. I think it is a really good introduction to the show. I feel like it definitely encapsulates a lot of the themes of the show. For example, like Bob's restaurant struggling despite like making really good food. They're kind of dealing with Mr. Fish Odor, like dealing with like the landlords. Yeah, one thing that they didn't put in very much, which, yeah, doesn't really spoil it, Jimmy Pesto isn't in the film at all. He's in it in the background a few times. Because I was wondering how they were going to approach that, because the voice actor was involved in the Capitol riots. So obviously not somebody that you really want to keep employed. So yeah, he isn't in it at all. But I don't feel like it wasn't obvious. But if people are watching the film before watching the show, they'd obviously not realise he's such kind of like a vital character in the show. Or at least he was. I'm not sure what they're going to do with him now. But yeah, it definitely encapsulates kind of a lot of the themes. The kids being mischievous and going off on their own, and yeah, and also there's like a little storyline with Louise and her ears, which I thought was very nice, and I like that they kind of did work that into the film, because obviously, again, like I said, it's such a big part of the show. One of the things I was kind of a bit hesitant about was that they might try to kind of like overload the film with loads of different characters and stuff, because obviously there are a lot of characters in the show, and I love some of them. Like, some characters didn't appear, like Marshmallow, and I love Marshmallow, and like, yeah, there's quite a few that didn't appear that would have been fun if they were in the film. But I think they definitely had the right amount of people. A lot of characters had make a little cameo, like some of the kids in the school were kind of in the background, maybe like one or two comments, because obviously there are so many fun, interesting characters in the show that I feel like they would have wanted to go like, oh, let's put them in for this bit, let's put them in for this bit. Whereas I feel like they definitely made the right choice and they didn't overload it, which I thought was very, very good. Because if you're someone who hasn't seen the show and you're watching the film and it's like, okay, we've got like 50 different characters to keep track of here, then I can definitely understand why that wouldn't be appealing. Now on to the spoilery part of the video. So if you haven't seen the film, then and you don't want to get it spoiled, then don't watch past this point. I don't mind. So, yes, hopefully you've all gone now. So, one thing that, it's kind of like one of those good, bad things, but I really wish we could have seen Louise without her ears. Like, when I was watching, I was like, oh my god, are they actually going to show her without her ears? Are they actually going to do it? And obviously her ears do fall off, but we don't see it. But it definitely marks a massive kind of improvement for her, where she is okay with taking her ears off. And I just loved the reactions of everybody else, like being shocked that she had her ears off and like how she was going to react. And I thought all of her interactions with Frond in the film were very good. They always made me laugh. So yeah, I get why they didn't show her ears. I feel like it's going to be one of those things that we're never going to see. We're never going to see her without her ears, which I get. But I'd just be so interested in what they would have done. Like, I know it's just going to be normal, but there's like so many theories about like why she wears her ears and like, yeah, stuff like that. So I definitely loved that storyline. I don't know how impactful it would have been for somebody who hasn't seen the show, like to see her kind of struggling with these ears. Oh, it's just a hat. Like, but as you've watched the show, you know it's like, it is like a big part of her identity. So I definitely like that they kind of looked at that and evaluated that bit, which I thought was really, really nice. I know there was a bit of like thing about it where, because obviously in the film they show that the hat reminded Bob of his mum, and they gave the hat to Louise as kind of like a well done for going to school kind of thing, which is really lovely. But I know in the show, I'm pretty sure they showed her as like a baby with the hat with the ears on, so I don't know exactly like. But I love the film. I thought it was a very good storyline. I really enjoyed it. It was a good conflict that like, you know, like that conflict basically like led her to wanting to solve this mystery, to prove that she was brave. So yeah, I thought it was a very great conflict for the film. I also really liked the Bob, Teddy and Linda storyline where they're running around the fair trying to sell their burgers, and again, I loved seeing them be successful. It really hurts me when Bob and Linda's like they just don't sell their burgers. So I really liked that, and I liked that Teddy was involved in it as well, because he's such a vital character in the show, and I feel like his kind of interaction with it was so good. Building the thing just shows how sweet he is, but also then being a bit weird, and then of course coming and saving them at the end. And obviously the other major storyline was the murder mystery. I did really like that. As I said, I really do like kind of murder mystery things. I wasn't expecting it to go down that route. I knew there'd be a mystery, but I didn't think it'd be like such a high stakes thing. I would say it's definitely on the kind of level as Felix Fish Odor, and like when they had Bob tied up at the bottom of the pier. I think it was very high stakes for the characters, which I wasn't expecting. I knew there would be some sort of big thing. I didn't think it would be like murder and then him like almost killing the Fish Odors and the 3 kids and their parents. I thought Grover was a good villain. I'm not sure, I can't remember him ever being in the show before, which I thought was a bit odd, but I can understand why they wouldn't want to kind of like write off a character completely that they've had in their show. But I thought he was good. He was kind of like those villains who is obviously not made to be a villain, but wants to be, and is, just evil, greedy, money hungry, and will do anything for it. And I thought that was a good character and really represents the Fish Odors in general. But yeah, I thought it was a very good plot. It wasn't too surprising. I mean, we kind of knew who it was, I don't know, 2/3 of the way through, and then the other third was like trying to figure out how to escape and like how to get him and make sure he doesn't get away with it. So I did enjoy it. The one song obviously that I was talking about was the villain song that he sings while they're all like in the underground place. And I didn't like that song at all. It was so high pitched. I couldn't hear what he was saying. I didn't really like it. It was funny at parts, but especially when I was in the cinema, I was like, I don't know what he's saying here. Like, this has no real impact on me. So that was a bit of a shame, but it wasn't, like, it didn't take away too much it didn't take away any of my enjoyment of the film at all, really. But it was one of the things, just like, I would have done that differently. And obviously the murder mystery led to a lot of really fun action scenes. Like, I loved when Bob and Louise were both like trying to get the fuse from the teddy bear, and Louise was on the roller coaster and Bob was just scrambling over. I loved that scene. I thought it was very funny, and again, like, there was some stakes involved in it, and I felt like it was a very, very good scene. And I loved them all like going around in the clam cars underneath the pier. I thought that was very fun as well. And I just love the whole kind of like hidden boys club that they had, where everyone just pressed the button that was like, danger, do not press this button. And all of them pressed it. And I thought that was funny. There was a good few like little, I just thought the film was really funny as well. Again, like I said, it kept the humour. And I just really liked it. And also, yes, that was nice. The environment of that was nice, but it was also nice just being at home on the sofa watching it as well, which is how I normally watch Bob's Burgers anyway. So it didn't feel like, like I said, it just felt like a long episode, but like a good long episode. Didn't feel like, dragged out or anything. It was very developed, and I thought it was fantastic. One of the things I did think about was like, how well did it turn a TV show into a film? Because this is something that loads of TV shows have tried before. That like, sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's not. But I think that they did a really good job of encapsulating everything good about the show, like the humour, the characters, just the general kind of like world building of the town. And they brought it really well into the film, like all the conflict with the landlords. And, this fair, I think obviously they had to include Wonder Dwarf in it because that is such an important part of the show. It's the struggles of Bob and his restaurant, despite being such a brilliant chef. Like, they did all of that. Obviously, there are loads of things that they could have included. Like, we didn't really get any of Gail. We didn't really get many of, like, the school children. Like, we got a few of them, and we got, a little bit of Jimmy Jr. and Zeke. But I really like Jocelyn and Tammy and Jocelyn, I find, especially Jocelyn, I just find her hilarious. So I'd have loved to see more of them, but we didn't, which is fine because, as I said, don't want to kind of overload it with too many characters. Like, I know this is very often compared to like the Simpsons film, and again, I've heard very mixed things about that, but I personally liked it. I was a kid when I watched it, I thought it was good, but they did kind of have something like disastrous happen to the whole town that I don't really think was ever referenced later on in the show. Whereas with Bob's Burgers, this is something that, you know, could have happened in an episode. Obviously, like I said, it would have had to be kind of like a double episode, but it didn't feel too kind of crazy or out of the ordinary for the show. It fit very well into that, whereas I guess the Simpsons movie was like, this is kind of like a disaster thing now. Whereas, you know, this kind of stuff happens to Bob and his family all the time, and I feel like, yeah, it definitely fit with that. It was such, I don't know, it was really heartwarming, comforting, which is exactly what Bob's Burgers is. And yeah, I loved it. I loved seeing, you know, watching an hour and a half of it. And it didn't feel like an hour and a half either. It went really quickly. Like, it, yeah, as I said, it did a really good job with the pacing. And, you know, it was very clearly very, very well thought out. And yeah, I thought it was so good. I highly recommend watch it if you haven't. Like I said, it's on Disney+. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like. It is much appreciated. And comment down below your thoughts on the Bob's Burgers film and how it compares to the TV show. And yeah, subscribe if you want to see more videos to do with TV, and I'll have some videos out for you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye!